Meryl Streep, often hailed as the greatest actress of her generation, is no stranger to accolades or controversy. With an astounding 21 Oscar nominations, she holds the record for the most nods in Academy Award history, making her name synonymous with excellence in Hollywood. But behind the countless awards, standing ovations, and red carpet glitz lies a more complicated narrative. Some of Streep's peers, including high-profile actresses like Sharon Stone and activist Rose McGowan, have voiced criticisms about her dominant presence in the industry, sparking debates about representation, power, and accountability in Hollywood. For decades, Meryl Streep has been revered as the gold standard of acting in Hollywood. Her ability to slip seamlessly into complex roles and deliver captivating performances has earned her widespread acclaim and made her a favorite among critics and award voters alike. From dramatic turns in Sophie's Choice in Kramer vs. Kramer to her comedic brilliance in The Devil Wears Prada, Streep has solidified herself as a living legend. But while her talent is undeniable, not everyone agrees with the level of singular focus the industry places on her. Sharon Stone, another talented actress who has made her mark in Hollywood, has publicly voiced a critique that challenges the industry's tendency to elevate Streep as the ultimate benchmark. "There are so many actresses who are just as talented as Meryl," Stone remarked in a candid interview, calling into question the near-universal adoration Streep receives. Stone's statement was not a critique of Streep's ability, but rather of the industry's selective recognition, which often centers on a few individuals while sidelining others. Stone's comments highlight a broader issue in Hollywood: the tendency to fixate on a few chosen stars, creating a hierarchy that leaves many equally talented actors in the shadows. While Streep's achievements are remarkable, the narrative that she is the pinnacle of acting talent can overshadow the diverse range of actresses who bring just as much depth and brilliance to their work. In an industry where opportunities for women are already limited, especially for women of color, older actresses, and those outside the mainstream, it's concerning that the spotlight often shines so brightly on one individual. This issue is reflective of Hollywood's deeper structural problems. The industry has long been criticized for its lack of inclusivity, with barriers to entry being especially high for women who don't fit into certain molds. Despite recent progress in conversations around representation, many women in Hollywood still struggle to get roles that fully showcase their talents, especially compared to their male counterparts. In this environment, the elevation of a select few actresses, no matter how talented, can exacerbate the feeling of exclusion for others. Stone's critique resonates with many actresses and industry insiders who feel that Hollywood's focus on Streep is emblematic of a wider issue: how the entertainment world tends to anoint certain stars and marginalize others. This star-making process often prioritizes a few actresses who fit a specific image, and the constant praise for those chosen few can diminish the achievements of others who deserve recognition. As Stone's comments suggest, it's not just about talent. It's about the system that decides whose talent is worth celebrating and whose is overlooked. Furthermore, Stone's remarks tap into the conversation about how Hollywood defines success for women. While male actors are often praised for their versatility and can comfortably take on leading roles well into their later years, female actresses face a different set of expectations. They are frequently typecast, relegated to supporting roles, or written off as they age. In this context, Streep's longevity and sustained acclaim, while exceptional, also highlight the disparity in opportunities for other actresses of her generation and beyond. The idea that one actress, no matter how accomplished, should serve as the yardstick for everyone else reveals an inherent flaw in how Hollywood measures success. It perpetuates a competitive atmosphere where only a few women are allowed to rise to the top, rather than fostering an environment that recognizes the unique talents of a broad range of performers. Stone's critique serves as a call for the industry to reevaluate its practices, to ensure that recognition is spread more evenly and that more actresses have the opportunity to reach their full potential. In sum, Sharon Stone's comments are a reflection of the challenges that persist for women in Hollywood. While Meryl Streep's achievements are undeniably historic, her dominance in the conversation around talent has, in some ways, limited the space for others to shine. Stone's remarks urge the industry to reconsider how it recognizes and promotes talent, pushing for a more inclusive and equitable approach to fame. In a world where so many talented women continue to fight for the roles and recognition they deserve, it's clear that the conversation around Hollywood's selective recognition is far from over. Sharon Stone's critique of Meryl Streep's dominance in Hollywood isn't the only instance where Streep has found herself at the center of controversy. In 2017, a very public dispute erupted between Streep and the late fashion icon Karl Lagerfeld, who accused the actress of rejecting one of his dresses for the Oscars unless she was paid to wear it. Lagerfeld, known for his work as a creative director for Chanel, claimed that Streep had initially chosen one of his designs for the prestigious event, but later backed out when another brand offered to pay her. The designer publicly expressed his disappointment, accusing Streep of putting monetary gain above artistic integrity. Streep, however, fiercely denied the accusation, calling it a lie and defamatory, and clarified that she never engages in pay-for-wear arrangements with designers. In a strongly worded statement, she emphasized that her decision to wear a different gown was made without any financial considerations. "I do not take money for wearing a dress on the red carpet," Streep asserted, hitting back at Lagerfeld's claims and underlining her long-standing reputation as an actress who prioritizes her craft over commercial endorsements. This dispute may have seemed like a superficial spat over fashion, but it revealed the intense pressure celebrities face when navigating relationships with designers. For stars like Streep, who frequently graces red carpets at high-profile events like the Oscars, their fashion choices are scrutinized as much as their acting performances. The red carpet is not just a place for showing off couture. It's a battleground for brand representation, image management, and public perception. What a celebrity wears can spark widespread attention, influencing trends, setting the tone for future red carpets, and even impacting their career. For designers, having an A-lister like Meryl Streep wear their gown to an event as globally viewed as the Oscars is a marketing opportunity that can bring prestige and a boost in business. Lagerfeld's claims, even though they were refuted, tapped into a larger conversation about the transactional nature of celebrity culture. The business of fashion, especially at this elite level, often intersects with the world of celebrity endorsements and public image management. Many actors and actresses are offered lucrative deals by designers and brands eager to have their creations worn by high-profile figures on the red carpet, leading to questions about whether artistic expression in fashion has become secondary to commercial interests. The Lagerfeld-Streep incident also highlighted the high level of scrutiny that stars like Streep endure, even in matters as seemingly trivial as a red carpet dress. For someone as established and revered as Meryl Streep, the idea that she would engage in a financial transaction over something like an Oscars gown seemed incongruous with the public's perception of her integrity. But the controversy showed how easily celebrities, even those with sterling reputations, can become embroiled in public disputes that question their motives and integrity. It's also worth noting that fashion controversies like this are not uncommon in Hollywood, where the intersection of fame, money, and image can create tension between celebrities and the brands they represent. The pressure to appear flawless on the red carpet, combined with the financial stakes for designers and the immense visibility of these events, creates an environment where misunderstandings or disagreements can quickly spiral into full-blown controversies. Streep's clash with Lagerfeld serves as a reminder of how stars must constantly balance their image and relationships, not just with their audience, but with the brands that want to be associated with their fame. In the end, the dispute between Lagerfeld and Streep may have been resolved, but it drew attention to the complexities of fame in the modern era. For Meryl Streep, a figure often admired for her artistry and grace, this controversy was a rare moment of public tension that underscored the unique pressures she and other celebrities face in maintaining their public personas. Even something as simple as a dress choice can spark a media frenzy, revealing the layers of scrutiny and expectation that come with being one of Hollywood's most celebrated stars. One of the more significant critiques of Meryl Streep's role in Hollywood came from Rose McGowan, a leading voice in the #MeToo movement, who openly challenged Streep for her initial silence during the Harvey Weinstein scandal. McGowan, who was one of the first to publicly accuse Weinstein of sexual abuse, directed pointed criticism towards Streep and other prominent Hollywood figures, questioning why someone with Streep's influence had not spoken out earlier about Weinstein's decades-long pattern of abuse. McGowan's critique was more than just a personal jab. It symbolized a growing divide between Hollywood's established elite and a new wave of activists pushing for accountability and change in the industry. At the height of the Weinstein scandal, many were shocked to learn that one of Hollywood's most powerful producers had been able to continue his abusive behavior for so long, seemingly unchecked by those in his circle. McGowan's frustration was fueled by the belief that powerful figures like Streep, who had worked with Weinstein on several films, should have been aware of his misconduct and should have used their platform to expose it. McGowan publicly expressed her disappointment, saying, "Actresses, like Meryl Streep, who happily work for the pig monster, are wearing black at the Golden Globes in a silent protest. Your silence is the problem." Her comments struck a nerve, casting a critical light on Hollywood's complicity in allowing abusers like Weinstein to flourish. In response, Streep denied having any prior knowledge of Weinstein's actions, stating that she was horrified and deeply saddened when the allegations came to light. "I didn't know about his crimes, not in the 1990s when he attacked Rose McGowan, or through the ensuing decades when he proceeded to attack others," Streep said in a public statement. She went on to clarify that had she known, she would have spoken out and expressed solidarity with the women who came forward. Streep's defense resonated with many who believed that not everyone in Hollywood was fully aware of Weinstein's abuses, as they were often shrouded in secrecy, intimidation, and manipulation. Yet, McGowan's accusations against Streep ignited a broader conversation about the responsibility of Hollywood's biggest names in addressing systemic issues within the industry. For years, Weinstein's power and influence loomed large in Hollywood, and it took decades for his abusive behavior to be publicly exposed. McGowan's critique highlighted the uncomfortable reality that many in Hollywood, especially those in positions of power, either turned a blind eye or were too fearful to speak up. The hashtag #MeToo movement called into question not only the actions of perpetrators like Weinstein, but also the silence of those who may have had the power to stop them. McGowan's challenge to Streep also reflected a generational and ideological divide between Hollywood's entrenched elite and the emerging voices advocating for a complete overhaul of the industry's culture. Streep, with her decades of accolades and a career built on being an untouchable figure of excellence, found herself being scrutinized in a way that was unfamiliar. Her iconic status, which had shielded her from much criticism over the years, was now being tested by a younger generation of women who demanded more transparency and accountability. The exchange between McGowan and Streep laid bare the complexities of how change happens in industries like Hollywood, where power dynamics are often rigid and deeply entrenched. Streep's public defense of her actions, or lack thereof, also opened up a nuanced dialogue about how much individuals can be held responsible for knowledge they might not have had. While some felt McGowan's criticisms were too harsh, others agreed that those in Hollywood who benefited from working closely with men like Weinstein should have been more vigilant. This debate also brought attention to the wider issue of how systemic abuse is allowed to persist in industries where certain individuals wield immense power. Weinstein's reign as a Hollywood kingmaker meant that many feared reprisal if they spoke out against him. McGowan's call for greater accountability was a demand for a complete cultural shift, one that would not allow figures like Weinstein to manipulate and control the industry for their own gain. In the wake of McGowan's comments, Streep remained a vocal advocate for change, supporting the hashtag #MeToo and Time's Up movements, and calling for better protections and more equitable opportunities for women in Hollywood. But the episode served as a stark reminder that even those regarded as the most respected figures in the industry could not remain unchallenged when it came to their role in enabling, either directly or indirectly, Hollywood's toxic culture of silence and abuse. Ultimately, the clash between McGowan and Streep underscored the complicated nature of holding power in Hollywood. It revealed that no one, not even the most decorated and beloved stars, was exempt from the reckoning that the hashtag #MeToo movement brought. As Hollywood continues to grapple with its legacy of abuse and inequality, the conversation sparked by McGowan's critique of Streep remains a powerful reminder of the importance of accountability, even for those at the top. Meryl Streep's influence extends far beyond Hollywood, and in 2017, her role as a cultural figure collided with the political landscape in a highly publicized way. At the Golden Globe Awards that year, Streep was honored with the prestigious Cecil B. DeMille Award for Lifetime Achievement. During her acceptance speech, she took the opportunity to make a pointed yet subtle critique of the political climate in the United States, particularly targeting the behavior of then-President Donald Trump without mentioning him by name. In her speech, Streep spoke about the importance of empathy, respect for the press, and the dangerous consequences of public figures using their platforms to bully and divide. When the powerful use their position to bully others, we all lose, she said, referencing an incident where Trump allegedly mocked a disabled reporter during his 2016 presidential campaign. Streep's words resonated with many in the audience and beyond, as they touched on the growing sense of division in the country and the responsibility of public figures to use their influence for good. She championed the role of the press as a safeguard against tyranny and urged her fellow actors and creators to support voices that promote understanding and unity. While Streep's speech was praised by many as a bold stand for empathy, decency, and free expression, it didn't sit well with everyone, particularly Donald Trump himself. In a quick and characteristically fiery response on Twitter, Trump lashed out at Streep, calling her one of the most overrated actresses in Hollywood and a Hillary flunky who lost big. His reaction sparked a media frenzy, with headlines across the globe covering the back and forth between one of Hollywood's most revered figures and the President of the United States. The public exchange between Streep and Trump became a symbol of the increasingly blurred lines between celebrity culture and political discourse. Trump's direct involvement in pop culture battles wasn't new. His career had long intersected with media and entertainment. But the spat with Streep highlighted just how deeply intertwined politics and Hollywood had become. For some, Streep's speech was a reminder of the power and responsibility that celebrities have when they use their platform to speak on larger societal issues. For others, it represented what they saw as the disconnect between Hollywood elites and the everyday realities of many Americans. Streep's critics, particularly those who supported Trump, accused her of using a celebratory event to advance a political agenda and of being out of touch with the concerns of ordinary people. They argued that her speech was emblematic of Hollywood's perceived tendency to preach to the public without understanding the struggles of those outside the entertainment industry. Trump supporters rallied behind his dismissal of Streep, echoing his sentiment that Hollywood was filled with out-of-touch elitists who used their platform to unfairly target him. On the other hand, many in the entertainment industry and beyond saw Streep's speech as a necessary critique of the shifting political climate, particularly in light of Trump's controversial rhetoric. For these supporters, Streep's words were a call to action, urging her peers to use their visibility to challenge bullying, bigotry, and attacks on the press. The moment also highlighted the broader role that Hollywood has often played in political activism, from championing civil rights causes to raising awareness on social justice issues. The Streep-Trump exchange also opened up conversations about the role of celebrities in politics. Can actors and public figures speak out on political issues without facing backlash? Should they be expected to stay out of politics and focus solely on their craft? The debate surrounding Streep's speech and Trump's reaction revealed a deep divide in public opinion, with some hailing her as a voice of moral authority and others seeing her comments as an overreach of Hollywood's influence. Despite the polarized responses, the incident underscored Streep's status as more than just an acclaimed actress. Her speech at the Golden Globes and the subsequent media attention cemented her position as a public figure unafraid to engage with the political and social issues of her time. Whether or not one agreed with her, it was clear that Streep's words carried weight, both in Hollywood and beyond. In the years following the Golden Globe speech, the intersection of celebrity culture and politics has only grown more pronounced, with public figures from across the entertainment world increasingly using their platforms to advocate for causes, criticize political leaders, and influence public opinion. The moment marked a turning point where celebrities like Streep were no longer just entertainers. They had become influential voices in the national dialogue, for better or worse. And for Meryl Streep, a figure already known for her depth, intelligence, and artistry, the 2017 speech only solidified her as a symbol of Hollywood's enduring engagement with the political landscape. And long before these controversies involving Meryl Streep's critics in modern Hollywood, even one of the most iconic actresses of all time, Katharine Hepburn, expressed mixed feelings about Streep's talent. Hepburn, known for her fiercely independent spirit and unshakable confidence, held the record for the most Oscar wins by an actress during her era and was often regarded as the gold standard of acting. When Streep emerged on the scene and began to dominate the acting landscape with her nuanced performances and rapid accumulation of awards, many assumed Hepburn would view her as a worthy successor. However, Hepburn's feelings about Streep were more complicated. Hepburn reportedly respected Streep's abilities, but didn't fully endorse her acting style. Unlike Streep, who is known for her meticulous preparation, deep immersion into her characters, and mastery of accents, Hepburn favored a more instinctual, less methodical approach to acting. To Hepburn, the craft was about raw emotion and presence, rather than the academic precision that Streep became known for. In an interview, Hepburn once remarked that she found Streep's technique to be too cerebral, suggesting that it lacked the spontaneity and emotional immediacy she valued in great acting. This ambivalence from one of Hollywood's most respected figures raised an important question that has long haunted the acting world. How do we define greatness? Hepburn's career was marked by roles that showcased her bold, charismatic presence and her ability to embody a character with minimal transformation. She didn't rely on changing her appearance or voice drastically, but rather on bringing her natural self into her performances in a way that captivated audiences. Streep, by contrast, is often praised for her chameleon-like ability to disappear into her roles, transforming herself physically and emotionally with each new character. Hepburn's mixed feelings about Streep speak to a larger debate within the acting community about what it means to be a great actor. Is it the ability to transform completely, as Streep does? Or is it the ability to remain true to one's essence, like Hepburn, while still bringing depth and emotion to every role? Hepburn's ambivalence towards Streep challenges the assumption that there is one definitive way to measure an actor's greatness, and instead suggests that different styles of acting can coexist, each with its own merits. The tension between Hepburn and Streep's respective approaches also reflects a generational shift in acting standards. Hepburn represented the old guard of Hollywood, where stars often relied on their larger-than-life personas to connect with audiences. She embodied the idea that charisma and star power could elevate a performance, making an actor beloved not just for their technical skill, but for their ability to embody the spirit of their character in a way that felt natural and authentic. Streep, on the other hand, became the face of a new era in Hollywood, where actors are celebrated for their technical mastery, their ability to vanish into roles, and their dedication to the craft. This divide between Hepburn's and Streep's styles touches on broader cultural and artistic questions about the nature of performance and whose standards we are upholding. Are we valuing versatility, the ability to transform completely into a different person with each role? Or do we celebrate actors who, like Hepburn, bring a consistent but powerful presence to their work, making each role uniquely their own? As Streep continued to accumulate accolades throughout her career, the debate around how we measure acting greatness only deepened. While Hepburn's ambivalence never escalated into direct criticism, her hesitation to fully endorse Streep's style reflects a long-standing discourse about acting itself, about the balance between craft and intuition, transformation and authenticity. It also raises a question of whether greatness in acting is something that can truly be measured, or whether it is as subjective and varied as the performances themselves. In the end, Hepburn's mixed feelings about Streep reveal the complexity of how we define talent in Hollywood, especially when two of the greatest actresses of their respective generations approach the craft so differently. Streep's dominance in the industry and her record-breaking number of nominations may set a high standard for future generations, but Hepburn's legacy reminds us that there is no singular path to greatness in acting. Both women, in their own right, reshaped the acting world, leaving behind distinct and influential legacies that continue to inspire debate and admiration in equal measure. The debate surrounding Meryl Streep's career goes beyond just one actress. It taps into broader cultural conversations about fame, gender dynamics, and evolving standards of talent in Hollywood. While Streep's achievements are undeniable, her prominence raises important questions about representation and opportunities for other actresses. Critics like Sharon Stone and Rose McGowan argue that the focus on Streep can overshadow many deserving performers. Yet, Streep remains a towering figure in the industry, continually inspiring and provoking vital discussions. If you want to dive deeper into the stories and controversies of Hollywood's biggest stars, be sure to subscribe to Beyond the Fame for more insightful content.